Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So, a couple of winners last week. Hopefully a few more winners today, which has been sent out in the free analysis in the emails. And we're going to look at Saturdays now. This will be released to Premium and Pro members straight after recording, or as soon as after recording as I can. I'll get it uploaded onto YouTube and then send it to you. And then it will be released to free members tomorrow morning. So if you're watching this as a free member, this was recorded yesterday, so some of these odds may be out of date, but hopefully they're still roughly around the prices that I'm interested in them in. So we will start off looking at the 2 o'clock race at York, and the horse that I like here, and it's a fairly obvious one if you actually look back through this race. It's Blue For You, who is now down to a mark of 94, having been as high as, did he make the hundreds? I'm just having a look on my other screen. He did. He went up to 105 at one point. Why is this horse interesting? Well, 3 years ago he ran in this race, in 2022, off a mark of 93, and he was beaten half a length, finished second. 2 years ago he ran in this race off 99, and he won it by 3 lengths. And last year he ran in this race off 95 and he won it by a length and a quarter. So he's won it 2 of the last 3 years. The only other year that he's running it, he finished second. It looks a really obvious one. That was off, the 2 wins came off 95 and 99. He's now down to 94. Why would we not be interested in him? I thought, he's going to be favourite then. That's the only negative. Let's have a look. York, 2 o'clock. He's not favourite. He's 5-1. Really surprising, to be honest. A 2-time winner of this race. Finished second on his other occasion in this race. Off lower marks, or off higher marks, his 2 wins came off. Okay, it was a little bit disappointing last time when he was 5th. He was still 5th of 13. It wasn't like he was out the back. This has probably been the race that they've been aiming him at. Coming back here, I expect a huge run here, and I think he's the one to beat here. And at 5-1, it looks a great price. Can't see any reason not to back Blue For You in that race. So let's move on to the next race that has caught my eye. It's the 2:35, the listed race. Now, I don't often get involved in listed races or group races, really, unless I feel there is a horse that is just the wrong price. And to be honest, I think Washington Heights is the wrong price. Let's have a look at what price he is. He's favourite. He's 9-4, 2-1 favourite. You can get 9-4 in a few places. So why do I think he's the wrong price? I think he should be shorter. I think all of these behind are handicappers. Whereas Washington Heights is a Group 3 listed horse, can even run in Group 1 races, and has performed well at York, to be honest. 6th in a Nunthorpe last year, behind the likes of Bradsell, Believing, Asfura. Finished 6th, nothing wrong with that at all. That's a Group 1. Finished 4th in a Group 2 behind Millstream, Should Have Been a Ring, and Diligent Harry. All 3 of those that beat him that day were 111 rated horses plus. So they were all good horses, and, he just wasn't able to win that race. But they were Group 1 horses running in a Group 2. Another race that he's been to at York, he finished second, trying to give £5 to Quino. Now, Quino was running off 85 that day. He's now rated 112. So Washington Heights was... You could almost say that Washington Heights was trying to run off a mark of 117 that day. Well, he didn't. He wasn't quite able to beat Quino. Millstream was actually behind. Eminency behind. I mean, that's just top quality form here. That should be far too good for this, to be honest. And even last time out at Royal Ascot in the King Charles III Stakes, the Group 1, he finished 7th. It was Group 1 horses in front of him. Asfura was just in front. Believing was back in 11th. This is just handicappers running in listed races, and Washington Heights, in my opinion, who I think will win this quite comfortably. Currently available at 9-4. I think that's far too big. We move on to the 250 at Newmarket, so off to the July course for the Bunbury Cup. And there's a horse in this race, you can see who I like, Run Boy Run, who I feel may have been aimed at a feature handicap this year. Now, let's just load up the odds. Let's have a look. Where is he? 250 at Newmarket. You can currently get 10 to 1 about Run Boy Run. There's enough 10s, there's a couple of 11s, but they're outliers, so we don't include them. So he's currently available at 10 to 1. Now, I like Run Boy Run. I think he's a good horse anyway. He also has won at the course, which is a big thing at the Newmarket July course. Granted, that was winning. He's actually won twice off 80 and 82, and he's finished second off 79. Yes, this is a harder race. I'm not denying that. He's also finished second to Ghostwriter, or in a newcomer's maiden. So he likes the course. Now, all of his wins last season were coming over 7 furlongs, and he ended the season finishing third over 7 furlongs, not beaten far at Wolverhampton, off a mark of 90. He then went to Newcastle in January on his return and finished second to Marshman. I think that's really good form. I think Marshman is a Group 3, Group 2 horse. Yes, he was getting a load of weight that day, but he still ran a really nice race to finish second to him. I then feel that they've kept him back for a feature handicap over 7, because they went to Newcastle, finished second over 6. They went to Newmarket, the Rowley Mile, finished second over 6, finished fourth over 6, sorry, and then finished second again at Newbury over 6. He's a 7 furlong horse, and I think the plan was to go to Royal Ascot and run a really big race. He went to the Buckingham Palace Stakes over 7 furlongs and he finished 9th. He ended up being in a small group of 3 over the far side, down the near side, sorry. No, it was over the far side. Over the far side, and he won that group. I mean, when they split like that, and there's only a very small group, what's he supposed to do? He won his group. That was over 7. This is the trip he wants. That came off of a mark of 95, and to be honest, I don't feel this Bunbury Cup, very disappointing turnout. Just the 13, could have had a max of 20 runners here. Just the 13, that is not like the 27 runner Buckingham Palace Stakes. It's not going to be, they're not going to split in my opinion. I think they'll all come down the near side, and I think he'll run a really nice race here. I think he can be right up there with the pace. And yeah, I just feel that he's too big a price. I think the step up in trip back to 7 would have really suited. It did kind of at Royal Ascot. He still won his race, in inverted commas, over that far side, finishing first of 3. Maybe he would have finished a lot closer if he'd been in the near side group. I think he would have. I think he would have done. And with that in mind, the fact that you can currently get, as I said, 10s about him in a race that I feel everything's going to suit. We know he likes Newmarket, especially this July course. Yeah, I think he's going to run a really nice race here. We're moving on to the 310 at York. The horse I like here. Now, this one is a bit of a bigger price. If you like these big price selections, this is definitely one of those. It's the 310 at York. Let's have a look what current price he is. He is currently available at 20 to 1. That's Phalak. Now, I like Phalak. I think the horse has done really well for Jim Goldie. He's now a 9-year-old, but I don't think he's badly handicapped, and I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to finish out the back here. I think he's going to run a really nice race. Now, he's coming to York. Back to York, where he actually finished 5th 3 runs ago, behind Burrito, See the Storm, Paddy the Squire, and Zane Butler. Now, Burrito was a really unexposed, massive improver, was rated 97. He's gone up to a mark of 104, 104. He's now 3 from 4. His only defeat came at Chester when he was second to Maramar. Could just be ridiculously progressive, that horse. The second was See the Storm, who actually reopposes. Where is See the Storm? Here he is. See the Storm reopposes, and he is currently the 11-2 second favourite. Third placed Paddy the Squire has since come out and finished second in an Old Newton Cup. Zane Blue has not franked the form. Back in fifth was Phelan under Paul Mulrennan. Now, if you actually watch the race, I think Paul got it wrong. He gave himself far too much to do on Phelan, and the horse was finishing strongly, which was a bit of a surprise considering they'd been running him over longer trips. They'd been up to 2 mile before, and they've been up to 2 miles again since. They've got to get him involved a lot earlier. And if they can, if he's quick enough, I actually think he's going to run a really nice race here. He has finished second before over this trip when he was beaten by Titian in a handicap in October 2022. He probably does want further now, but it's all about being ridden along and pushed along to get involved early enough. I expect he will be dropped out the back, but if he can get riding and get going early on in that straight, I think he's going to be finishing really strongly and probably best of all. And I'd be really disappointed if he doesn't run a really nice race here. It's not that long ago that he won a couple of races, so it's not like he hasn't won in ages. He won 5 runs ago and 6 runs ago, winning at Hamilton both times over a 1 5 and a 1 4, or 1.5 miles. So he does get further. So they really need to be concentrating on getting going early enough on Phelan. And I think they know he stays. It's all about riding him early enough. And if he gets going early enough, I think 20-1 could look very silly tomorrow. I think he'll be absolutely flying at the finish. Moving on to Ascot for the 450. There are a couple of races that we will go back to. I will come to them shortly. And the next horse that I like in this 5 furlong Heritage Handicap is Existent. Now, he does look like he could be frustrated. And look at his form figures. 2, 3, 3, 4, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. The last time he won a race was... back in February 2022. However, we did it last week with another horse that hadn't won since 2022, and he got up to win for us. Was it King's Lynn, I think? Winning for us. And we also had Classic, who a lot of people thought could never win a race because he doesn't find a lot. He also won for us. Maybe Existent can follow that and be another winner for us off a horse that hasn't won for a long time. However, I don't think his form's been bad recently. There's been not a lot wrong with it. He has started to drop in the handicap marks. He was as high as 107 previously. And he even competed in a Group 1, I think. He did. He competed in the King Stand Stakes back in 2022, the Group 1. He's down to a handicap and he runs off 85. And Ashley Lewis takes a very useful 7 off. That sort of mark, he's effectively running off of 78. That could be enough to get his head in front, to be honest. I thought Rose did well in the Aston Martin Dash. Probably wasn't strong enough at the finish for me, whereas I think Ashley Lewis can certainly be a little bit stronger. And the fact that it finished 3rd last time out in the Epsom Aston Martin Dash, the 5 furlong handicap, nearest at the finish, running on all the way to the line, suggests that although he's 7, he's certainly not past it, and he's certainly not, going to finish. I don't think he'll finish that far behind. I think he'll run another very creditable race. He's been to he's been to Ascot a few times. He does have a 4th place behind Albashir, Emperor Spirit and Woodhay Wonder to his name. And actually that was the last time he came here in the Whispering Angel on the 27th of July last year. Didn't get a clear run that day either. If he had, I think he would have won. And with that in mind, I thought, okay, maybe they'll wait for the Whispering Angel and they'll get him handicapped for the Whispering Angel in a couple of weeks' time. But that race is only worth 30 grand. This is actually worth 51. So this isn't the race they're going to be, they're not going to be holding him up here and waiting for the race in a couple of weeks' time. They're going to be trying here. Ashley Lewis on board, takes off all that weight, should run a really consistent race and solid race. Can he get his head in front? I'm hoping so. If he can, we might have a nice winner. And he's currently available at 12, so I think that's a fair price. You know, it's probably not the worst each way in the race, is he? I mean, look at his form. He just keeps filling those places. If he is just frustrating, then maybe he might be frustrating again tomorrow and run on into a place. But if it's, you know, if there's no issues with his attitude, then hopefully he can put his nose in front on the line. 2 more to go. The next one is the 5.25 at York, and this could well be my nap of the day tomorrow. On the basis that we highlighted this last week. Juan Lapan finished 5th last time out at, where was he finishing 5th? Haydock? Finishing 5th at Haydock. And I was watching the race and didn't get a clear run. Badly blocked. Thought, okay, he's going to drop away. But once he got a clear run, he absolutely flew again, back up for 5th. And I thought, oh, that was really eye-catching. If he had got that clear run, I think he would have won. So why do I not think he can win this race? Very similar. 0 to 80, that was what it was last week. 6 furlongs, that's what it was last week. At York, I think he's been here before. He's finished 2nd in a listed race, behind Comanche Falls, in front of Emirati Anna. That bit of form would be far too good for this race. There's so many positives about him. I think he's going to be the one to beat. Last week he went off, what did he go off last week? Not a big price. 8 to 1. I think we might get about that tomorrow. There aren't any current odds for that race, or there wasn't last time I looked. Let's have another look now. 5.25, and we've also got the 4.15 at Ascot coming up. No, the 4.15 at York even. Let's just load that one as well. 5.25, there are no current odds. If I can get anything above 4s, to be honest, about Juan Lapan, I'll be having a bet on him. I think he was so unlucky last time. They're coming to York. That is a track that I wanted them to run at. I thought a week later would be too soon. It highlighted a race in a couple of weeks' time. Instead, they're coming here now. I think he'll run a really, really big race. And finally, the last race that I want to talk about is the 4.15 at York, the nursery handicap over 6 furlongs. And there's a horse here that I think could be very, very interesting. And that is Dacre Cross. I think it's called Dacre Cross. Let's say Dacre rather than Dacres. That sounds a bit rubbish. Dacre Cross. Runs in a nursery, so first time into a handicap. Off a mark of 70. And has been gelded. And I think all of those things are really key for this horse. And the other thing that caught my eye was, on debut, the horse went off 7 to 1 and finished 5th. Was quite eye-catching, ran on quite nicely. But then on his next 2 runs, he's gone off the 2 to 1 favourite, having finished 5th in just a basic maiden for 2-year-olds. He went off the 2 to 1 favourite, and then he went off 9 to 4 second favourite behind Kolkata Knight in another maiden at Hamilton. The fact that they've gone off that short a price on both occasions demonstrates that Connections believe that horse is much better than what he's showing, or what he's shown. He runs in a nursery off 70, having been gelded. I mean, there's so many positives there for Dacre Cross. I think he's going to be a short price favourite, and I think he's going to take all of the beating here. And they'll just say the gelding operation worked. 6 furlongs is what I think he wants. He gets 6 furlongs again. Keep an eye out for this one, especially if you get a price about him. There are no current prices, as you can see. Honestly, I'm looking for anything above like 2 to 1, 5 to 2. I think he is that well handicapped off 70. I think that's nowhere near his handicap mark. So yeah, that is Dacre Cross. So let's go back through them quickly to find out who my nap next best. I'm going to, as I said, Juan Lapan is going to be my nap. Really like that. Washington Heights is going to be my next best. Can't see him getting beat. And we're going to go Dacre Cross as our third best. So they will be my selections in the nap competition tomorrow or today, depending on if you're a free member. You'll only obviously see this on Saturday. Fingers crossed for a good weekend with lots of winners, and have a great weekend. It's going to be a hot one.